Am I really going to watch this Jordan Peterson thing? Seems like slop. Am I overreacting? Girl I'm into admits to casual use of the N-word. Girl I've been talking to lately and have mutual romantic interest with. I tried really hard here to be compassionate in my response, but at the same time, I felt like this is something I needed to be crystal clear and firm about my response to. I dabble in the gamer word, mainly when I'm super upset, and then the guys overstim me, and then it just flies. What the f? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I have self-control and won't do it around new people or, people that it would affect. Roger gets on my case when I do say it, and I've pushed it back a lot, but it slips from time to time. How ordinary is your N-word saying? How prolific of an N-word user are you? If this is a massive red flag, not because they say the N-word actually, but because their excuse for it is because they said overstim. That's like a red flag. Anybody that uses the word overstim, I think, is a red flag. I don't think, or not a red flag. That's a deal breaker. I think you just shouldn't talk to anybody that ever says that word. Doesn't he explain? Autism has become like a very kind of like cute and quirky, XD, furry, whatever kind of thing. And like overstim is like a cute, like, oh, like I'm so anxious, haha. And when I get overstim, I actually just want to kill myself. Whenever I see somebody say the word overstim, I just assume this person wants to be treated like a retarded child. Usually overstim is said to try to have somebody make an excuse for some unacceptable behavior because they're just a fucking retard. But not an actual retard. If they were an actual retard, they wouldn't be retarded. They would be mentally disabled and they would have an issue related to that. But 99% of the time, it's a fucking retard. Sorry, I was overstimmed there. As a quick thing, because he's worse than Vosh at this, speaking like this is dumb. It makes you a stupider person than being able to communicate an idea with brevity and with in a concise manner. I don't know why Peterson does this. I don't know if he thinks it makes him sound smart or if he's actually so autistic that he doesn't realize that he just wastes so much time. He is one of the most superfluous speakers. There is such a lack of density in what he says. This guy will take like 10 minutes to say fucking nothing. It's so fucking infuriating. I hate it because the way that he talks too, like his audience simps over like, oh my God, you're so smart, you're so profound. What did he say that was profound? Like what was one insightful thing that he just said? Right? Like he's about to take like 3 minutes to say that, I don't even know, hold on.
Simple personification, it's not a simple...
That like whatever the God was that was presented to Moses could mean a lot of different things, but isn't that essentially the contention of the person that he's debating with? That like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about when you say God is the thing, or we are rejecting God. Like you don't even seem to know what the fuck you're talking about, because you can never give a concise definition of God.
Old man in the sky, it's something that in its essence is unknowable and overwhelming. And that isn't, in my experience, the God that's defined by atheists who are attempting to undermine the story. I mean, it's the same claim, isn't, in my experience, in the sky, it's something that in its essence is unknowable and overwhelming. And
like unknowable, how could you disagree with the guy's earlier contention that people have mutually exclusive definitions of God, and then you say, well, that wouldn't be the case because if that was the case, then nobody could even communicate with each other because communication presupposes some mutual understanding, which is true. But now you're saying there are aspects of God that are literally unknowable. Well, then in that case, you've like tautologically won the argument, right? When somebody says atheists reject God and they don't even know what they're rejecting, well, if the God himself is literally unknowable, you've defined the win in your in your language. Like you can't lose. You don't even know what you're rejecting. What do you mean? I reject God. Okay, but God is unknowable. Therefore, okay. I hate the way this guy talks. He's absolutely correct. Good job. That's absolutely the implication of what he's saying. Man, I really liked the way that I spoke about this with who was I talking about? Oh, with Andrew Wilson. That there are some people that if your brain is open and you're actually trying to understand what's being said, there are some people that when you listen to them speak or when you listen to them debate, I think a reasonable person should always come away feeling like just unsatisfied. Not like that person was wrong or that person was debating in bad faith, but just like unsatisfied. Like I think Andrew Wilson produces that feeling. Like today we've shown up to debate whether or not 1 + 1 = 2. And you end up debating over what a straight line is because somebody draws a 1. He's like, well, I don't think that line is perfectly straight. And if it's not a perfectly straight line, then the number 1 is defined as having a slash that's a perfectly straight line. And he's like, wait, what? And then after like 2 hours, you're like, I don't even know what the fuck we just argued over. I don't know what the fuck this debate was over. It just feels very unsatisfying. I feel like all of Jordan Peterson's contentious conversations, I feel like all of them are deeply unsatisfying because he's incapable of having a frame of conversation where he can approach the substance of any particular issue and then have a conversation about the substance. It is this constant pivoting to these irrelevant side tangents. Somebody says something like, we're going to have a debate on whether or not I think you appreciate your mother enough on Mother's Day. And somebody's like, okay, let's go. And it's like, I think I do appreciate her enough on Mother's Day. Really? Appreciation is defined as the presence of enough serotonin and dopamine in the presence of this person. When was the last time you took a brain scan? It's like, okay, why don't I take a brain scan or whatever? I know what, really, define how you show appreciation then. I don't know. Well, when I appreciate somebody, I spend time with them, I give gifts to them. Really, how much time do you spend with your dog? And what do you mean by spending time? Have you ever been on your phone ever and it's like you have like this 2 or 3 hour conversation. By the end of it, it's like, I feel like we didn't even talk about whatever the fuck we were here to talk about. I don't know what the fuck this conversation was about. This is every conversation with Andrew Wilson, and it is every conversation with Jordan Peterson. By the end, you should ask yourself, like, what is the point that the other side is trying to make? You really have no idea. Maybe it'll be the different, or maybe this conversation will be different. Maybe by the end of this hour and a half, we'll have gotten something. But God, I hate it so much. This is the guy's asking a very good question. I feel like I asked this, but of course in an edgier way, to try to tease out like where do we really feel like morality comes from? Like, do we kind of have some intuitions on morality, which I would agree we do. When I say intuitions, I mean like very biologically based. Like we have intuitions to eat certain types of foods, not like a strong moral intuition that comes from God. And I would argue these intuitions, we try to like reverse engineer them. Like, how do we explain them? And some people do God and they explain it that way. For people that are heavily religious, usually they don't want to engage with the hypothetical. But let's say a lost book of the Bible was discovered, and this book is 100% authenticated to be real. The fucking DNA of Jesus and all the biblical writers is found on it, and God even comes down real quick and does like a TV announcement. He's like, just letting you guys know, that's a real book of the Bible. And in this book of the Bible, it says you can have sex with children. Do you think that that is a thing that is now morally acceptable? Or do you become an atheist? And the answer should immediately be it's morally acceptable if you're religious, because if God commanded it, right? I mean, without getting into the erythropro, whatever dilemma but that's not relevant, right? If God says the thing is like moral and it's true, then he's, regardless of whether it's true because he says it or because he knows the truths of the universe or whatever, right? You should believe it. But if you start to hesitate at that point, I think that the hesitation there, I feel like, is pointing at something. The reason why you're hesitating is because you've got a backwards facing explanation for where your morality comes from, and now you've run into a thing where it doesn't seem like that explanation is fitting more. I think we're pretty intuitively oriented in a certain direction when it comes to morality, but he's asking kind of this question, but in not quite an edgy way. God, kill me.
Lie to save my clinical practice.
Would you lie to like save your children, your mom, your dad?
I don't think lying would save them.
Can there ever be
Oh, wow. How clever that you can just define away all of the challenging questions. Nice. Good one.
circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if you're steeped in sin, you're likely to live in circumstances like that.
I'll give you an example. If you're like
Just do there's a super common challenge to deontologists about lying and a Nazi showing up at your door. Just give them that one. God, he's so cringe.
in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's like Jewish people in your attic, and
Oh,
you're
there
having
you
to protect
go.
them. Would you lie to like the Nazis?
I would have done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that situation
you
to begin
lie?
with.
Oh my God, give me a fucking break.
It's a hypothetical, and it's
You
not
can't answer
answerable.
hypotheticals?
No, I can't answer a hypothetical like
What?
that because
Did
it's
you eat
far.
Like, that's an unconceivable hypothetical? You can't conceive of a situation where you might have to lie to protect. That's an inconceivable hypothetical to you. For the man who's explored so much theology, so much philosophy, engaged in so much conversation, it is inconceivable to, I can't even conceive of a situation where I might be able to lie for the benefit. That's an impossibility. Like, give me a break. Oh, like, this is so, it's not even performative. Or it's like performative Down syndrome. It's like so stupid. Like, what would it be like if your IQ was like 65, but you also had to LARP as a philosopher for a day? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I just noticed Jordan Peterson changed his meta.
To what?
So, he has perfected the art of arguing without arguing. And what I mean by that is he'll make some sort of normative statement like, I don't know, God is all good, or like X political system is better than, some other political system. And then somebody will ask him, okay, well, what makes it better? What makes it good? Why does goodness come from this place? And then he'll just simply make some sort of descriptive statement that you would fundamentally agree with. Like, oh, well, I define good as, like, this resulting in this. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I agree, that would be good. But then you have to ask, like, what makes good good? And everyone fails to ask that question. So he'll define something like good and as like some sort of descriptive statement, like as long as these two qualifiers exist, then that is good by definition. So you could swap out good for, whatever qualifier he's talking about. But then because he initially made a normative statement, it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah, he plays a lot with these types of things, with normative, or with descriptive and prescriptive statements, and with redefining words and shit. This is why I said at the beginning of this: every conversation with Jordan Peterson, if you come away really thinking about it, I feel like all of them are deeply unsatisfying. And the reason why is because he never actually has a real conversation where he's saying anything of substance or meaning. It's always these like super stupid word games where we're just like bouncing around on a ton of different definitions or contexts to say something like, to pretend he's saying something profound because he uses enough big words.
I'm still trying to figure out what exactly he's intending to do. I don't think he's just simply trying to get attention. I think what he's trying to do is like manipulate people into believing like some of his own worldview, like his like weird political beliefs or something.
Well, I think he has like I think he believes in. I think he's egotistical. I think he just wants to be seen as like an intellectual, and he enjoys having these conversations.
Well, sure. Like I know for sure that he likes to try to sound smart, and he just like deliberately goes out of his way to say just the most complicated, convoluted, nonsensical things, just to sound intellectual. But I mean, it's still a time waste. So, on some level, I'm sure he wants attention and fame and money or something. But I still haven't figured out, like, what his end goal for some of these conversations are. Because I just can't link it to any kind of political narrative that he's trying to.
I mean, he's like kind of part of the. Is he still in the Daily Wire or like the right? I don't know what his project is right now. All of those people have kind of like flung off. Peterson seems a little bit aimless right now, but also he might have just made a fuck ton of money and he's kind of like over it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe.
All right, well, stay on that alpha male grind set, dude.
All right, I love you. Be careful.
Take care.
Oh, he does this so much. He did this in our debate, right? He won't define a single fucking thing until he feels like, or like he will never rest on scientific consensus or whatever, unless he feels like it's on his side. And then he'll become the biggest believer in science ever, right? Well, how do you define happiness? Well, how do you define deep and not deep? And how do you find blah, blah? And then he's like, but for religious people, we actually happen to know that religious people are definitively, objectively, descriptively happier than atheists because of the scientific literature, the sociologists that do the polling and have constructed the tests to figure out now we can scientifically measure happiness, but otherwise we don't actually know what happiness means. Like, how can you rest on a paper trying to quantify happiness when you won't even give a definition of it? It
doesn't stand on anything.
So you disagree with the claim that...
Hi, what's up?
Dude, Jordan Peterson's fucking bullshit about nihilism. He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. I wish I could debate him. Do you have any line to him at all?
No, I don't even talk to him anymore.
Goddamn. Here's we already talked about this. He'll make a descriptive claim about meaningful, and he just did it here. Meaningful is like living a meaningful life means sacrifice and worship. So sacrifice and worship is meaningful. Meaningful is sacrifice and worship. What makes either of those two things meaningful?
Yeah, sure.
So it's meaningful in two completely different senses. In one sense, meaningful is just a descriptive claim, where it's just sacrifice and worship. But like, what goal are you trying to achieve from any of that?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
So the reality is nothing is meaningful, nothing is good, nothing is bad. These are just preferences that you have in your mind. And whenever you talk about something like meaningful, good, bad, what you're really doing is making descriptive claims about your own personal preferences. And like, it's just the truth. Like, there's no arguing against nihilism. Nihilism is just the truth. It's just your mind that makes up its decisions on things like, I like this, I don't like that. There's no truth outside of your mind that says what you're doing here is meaningful, but then he like always tries to shit on nihilists and say, oh, they're fucking evil and they're just gonna watch porn and like, I don't know, rape babies or something.
Okay, true. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I love you. Still watching.
All right, well, I have a lot of notifications going off, so take care.
Be careful. Like, what a word game. Didn't he just say that God said that? Why are we ascribing this to humans now? I thought he said God ordered that.
I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. I mean, what you try to do in your own life, as far as I can tell, is to conduct yourself in a manner that makes such things much more unlikely.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is he talking to?
We're all saddled with the problem of the catastrophes that got us here, aren't we?
Yeah, but this one was commanded by God. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
well-
what.
At Destiny, axioms can be changed and new math systems can be born and used. We just like this particular math system. Morality is the same. It's functional and born by trial and error and convenience. That is absolutely not true. You cannot invent new moralities. I think morality is something that we observe. It's a phenomenon in the world that we observe, and then we try to create systems to kind of explain it. And it's more codified in things like law, but you couldn't just arbitrarily create a new morality. Like, most people intuitively wouldn't go along with it. Like, if you created a morality that said that poking people's eyeballs was acceptable, nobody would buy into your system of morality. Nobody would practice it.
Differentiates it from anything else.
I think you're confusing a usable morality system with a theoretical one. You can actually create a moral system. They just have bad consequences, so nobody uses them. Yeah, but I don't know if I don't know how we would describe it. I don't know why I'm arguing this. You can't, if you quote unquote construct a moral system, but nobody uses it, at least in common parlance, we wouldn't call that a moral system. We would just call it something different. I think that when people are constructing moral systems, they're not really constructing something like foundationally from axioms to solve some moral system. They're observing a bunch of things that are happening in the universe, like something of human behavior, and then they're trying to figure out some way to explain these things. And then sometimes make predictions. Although I guess it depends on what moral system or where you're going. But it's fundamentally a different thing than, I think, like mathematical systems that are like, I don't even fucking know. What usually somebody in chat said that you're looking for like completeness and ability to solve particular problems or whatever. Like, I don't know anybody, generally speaking, that will learn a system of morality and it will completely and totally change the way that they behave. Like, oh, I learned a new system of morality and now I am completely different. There are going to be some people that think they're completely different because there are like edge morality cases, maybe like things around like doing drugs or something. We're like, oh, look, I'm totally different morally. But like, not really. Like, generally speaking, like 99% of humans across all of human history roughly have like the same kind of moral intuitions. There's going to be stuff around the edges related to like LGBT stuff or related to, I don't know, like, it's just some behaviors, but for the most part, like, almost everybody's going to intuitively look at a series and say, oh, torturing people is probably bad. Murdering people is probably bad. Stealing from people is probably bad. You know, destroying people's shit is probably bad. Like, most people are going to agree on a ton of moral stuff. Times when people say this, I've noticed this. I'm pushing back against this more. I'm going to spend a year doing this, okay? So just so you know, all right? Being a harsher defender of debate. When people say, I don't like talking to win, or I don't like arguing to win, oftentimes what they're actually saying is, I don't like any critical analysis of what I'm saying. I want to be able to, this is like the crime of podcasts for the past 5 fucking years, is when somebody would go on and they'll be like, I think that the sky is blue. And the other person will be like, I actually think that the sky is pink. And the guy will be like, I agree with you. Yeah, it is kind of a pink sky. It's real high up there, isn't it? And the other person, yeah, it's really high up there. And then the other guy will be like, actually, I think the sky is on the ground. And then the other guy will be like, yeah, that is true. Actually, in some ways, the sky is on the ground. And they're like, yeah, and the sky is kind of like a car. And they're gonna be like, yeah, I think actually it's just like a car. You're absolutely right. I've got cars and skies that are the same thing. And the guy's like, by car, I actually mean truck. And they're gonna be like, yeah, that's actually, like, it's the most boring, vapid, like, self-suck session of people just saying not, like, when people say, I don't have arguments to win, they're just afraid of literally any critical pushback on anything they're saying ever. And not like a debate or an argument or a challenging conversation. It doesn't have to be like, you're a fucking retard, like, you don't know anything you're talking about. But it's more like, what do you mean when you say that? Or I disagree with this. Like, explain this. Or I think you have an inconsistency here. People like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan and all these other dick suck fucking podcasters hate any form of disagreement, and it's so cringe and so passive and soy and beta and spineless to have all these people that just sit here and agree with each other over and over and over and over and over again, and they say nothing of substance. God, I hate it. Oh boy. Can we do another one? But have Jordan Peterson surrounded by 20 Christians. True. A guy that loves the idea of Christianity versus 20 atheists. There, fix that over here. True. Jordan Peterson is the kid that plays a black hole in a game of rock, paper, scissors. I can't wait for 90 minutes of, but what is your definition of Christian? Alt title, 20 atheists try to get Jordan Peterson to state a clear opinion. Atheists don't understand what they're rejecting. What is it? Something that you cannot understand. Okay. One secret atheist versus 20 atheists.
It isn't obvious in the biblical account that Christ was literally resurrected. So it's not simple. This is not simple.
No, but if the question is, do you think well, let's
Oh, he's not. He is an atheist then, or I don't know how old this is. 1 year ago? How long ago was this? You don't get to be a Christian and say this. I'm sorry. I don't care what other bullshit, cringe, whatever the fuck bullshit you're on. You have to believe in the resurrection of Christ. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is there maybe there's some very weird denomination of Christianity that doesn't? I've never heard of one. But like, this is this 5 years old? Over 10 years? It's at least 10 years. Okay, maybe he's changed his beliefs since then. I don't know.
It isn't obvious in the biblical account that Christ was literally resurrected. So it's not simple. This is not simple.
No, but if the question is, do you think well, let's put it probabilistically. I mean, anything's possible. I'll tell you that it's possible that he was physically resurrected. I mean, it's not.
Oh, it's from 2018.
Even possible.
Wait a second. I didn't
with respect
say
to quantum
that he
mechanics.
was.
The point is,
I said it would take me 40 hours to answer the question. I didn't say that he was.
Well, how's this for an answer? Almost certainly not. What's wrong with that answer?
You want?
I think I know what's wrong with that answer.
It's a fine answer, and people have been giving that answer for a very long period of time, but the idea doesn't seem to go away.
Okay,
So-
but
and there's a
that's
reason-
evidence of what exactly?
I don't know.
That was a good follow-up question. What does that mean? And then he can't answer. Destiny. Non-denominationals are just Christians that don't want to adhere to any of the denominations' weird traditions. All Christians have to believe in the resurrection of Christ. No offense, I'm sorry. Non-denominational people are people who just want like all the pros, but they don't want to actually make any sacrifices for the religion. So they'll say like, oh, I believe in God. I just don't want to do any of like the cringe lame shit that God might ask you to do, like going to church or tithing or any of that cringe shit. I just want to be able to say that I believe in God. So I have like the psychological comfort of believing that there's something after death and that there's some meaning or organization of the world, but I don't want to have to actually do anything that I wouldn't do otherwise. I hate non-denominationals, okay? Non-denominoids. Oh no, what the fuck? Refunds were apparently given to people who reached out immediately. Hi there. Refunds were honored for purchasers who reached out immediately following the update and schedule. No further refund requests will be honored. Oh, shit. So apparently, Creator Clash got delayed? I didn't know you could do that? Like, I feel like you would book the arena, and I have no idea. Like, imagine scheduling an event like that, and people would, like, buy tickets. Not like tickets, like just tickets to your event, but like airplane tickets or scheduled time off work or book a hotel in advance. Like, Destiny, it's delayed indefinitely? Is that true? Why are tickets still on sale? We know the event is postponed indefinitely. Why is there no mention of this on the official site? Is that true? Imagine another world. Oh my God. Sorry, I just had soy chills. Imagine a world where Ethan does like a content nuke. And it's like a to be continued episode. He like premieres the content nuke. And then it's a to be continued. And right after his premiere ends, there's another premiere for iDubbbz Content Cobb that goes live. And all of it is on this fucking insane Hassan shit. Creator Clash would be saved. They could do a promotion for it at the end. It would be way less fucking insane. Like the idea that, I guess maybe Creator Clash 3 wasn't doing that well anyway. But the idea that, like, Ian literally nuked his fucking event over insane shit. Like, we live in such a moment right now. Like, the grasp on sanity is so tenuous, right? We live in such a moment that it's like, okay, well, which side is right here? Okay, we have Ethan from H3. So they're saying that they don't support the actions of the Israeli government. They believe that they are committing a genocide against Palestinians, but they don't think that every single Israeli should be genocided. That's their position. Okay, that's one side. And then on the other side, you have one of the largest, second largest streamer on Twitch who is watching music videos of actual terrorist groups committing terrorist acts against civilians and then celebrating mass slaughter of civilians. And then also like amplifying a whole bunch of people who are so crazy. He said he would never view their material again, Bad Empanada. Which side is right here? I mean, they both make really strong points. It's like I'm going to side with the one that's showing Hezbollah videos and crying at funerals of Nasrallah, but then saying that like Israeli people killed in the United States maybe deserve it. Like, how could that possibly be the case that we're pretending that this is normal or that these two sides are even remotely equivalent? And then Ian is literally willing to jump into this and then stake his whole reputation and then Creator Clash 3 and everything on the crazy side. Like, why? What the fuck? Funny, Destiny thinks Creator Clash had any chance for the content cop. It might have been kind of semi-doomed from the start, but I mean, like, half their headline ticket dropped, right? Harvey dropping is probably a fairly big deal. I don't know if they would have postponed it before, but... And there's probably more promotion Ian could have done with Ethan if he wouldn't have burned the fucking bridge. Like, I'm sure that's possible. The funny thing too is that, and I understand maybe my brain is still in the capitalist world where I'm not like ideologically bought into being a fucking terrorist yet, but like there is a world where if these people weren't so fucking crazy on Hassan's side, where this whole event could like amplify the fuck out of everything. Like you could have, imagine Creator Clash 3, but instead of these people actually wanting to have each other fucking killed, you know, they like make more content out of the debates and the disagreements and everything. Imagine a Creator Clash 3 where you have like AB versus, it's not some black guy. It's, fuck, who is the guy that said I should be dead? Or like socialism would have come. What's that guy's name? Or is it Sean DeBlack, that guy? And then you had like FD Signifier versus, I don't even know. But like you could like literally you could monetize the fuck out of like these types of online things. And you could even have like they could choose like Palestine as like part of their charity thing. You could make a ton of money on it. There'd be a fuck ton of interest and viewership on it. You'd be drawing in people from like it would be so crazy. How much better all of this would be, but these people are like actually unironically ideologically captured so hard. They're willing to destroy like entire careers and events on this. It's just crazy. Imagine they do a debate and then a boxing match right after. Didn't they do something like this with, was it Creator Clash 2 or 1? Or was it just not a Creator Clash event where, am I making this up? No, I am making this up. Where Andrea Botez boxed some other chess player and they played chess, but they didn't do it at the event, right? Didn't they just play chess before this? Did they actually do chess boxing? Or was that Ludwig's event? That wasn't a Creator Clash? It was an event put on by Ludwig. Okay, yeah, you could literally do shit like this. That'd be crazy. You make so much money off of this. Do you have any intuitions on why iDubbbz thought it was the right thing to do? People are rarely just crazy. I can't make sense of it at all. I mean, like, people are legitimately insanely echo chambered right now. Like, people live in crazy echo chambers, and it's totally possible that you can come out thinking that you are just like totally right on a thing, and it just depends on the area that you're in. Like iDubbbz still might think that most people agreed with him. Like I think if you go on to like in the world of TikTok, I think most of TikTok sided with H3H3, right? Not H3. Ian and the Content Cop. I think it just depends on the circles that you hang out in. Well, like something that Elon GG, I know that Benny Morris has gone more right. I don't know why you've spent this question 50 times. I don't live in Israel. I don't have any of the same risks or any of the same things as him. He's probably more to the right to me on some designer shit. I don't know why you keep saying this. Okay, Jesus. Type this like 10 times in chat. Calm the fuck down. Holy shit. Yeah, people's like actual factual realities have split insanely on the internet today, like in all circumstances. Like listening to Kiwi Farms or Gistigal talk about like my court case and how they're just like in a totally different world than like the filings or my interpretations of things, or seeing the different interpretations of like Israel and Palestine, or seeing the different interpretations of like the Ukraine war, or seeing the different interpretations of the interpersonal fight between Hassan and Ethan about like who said what or who's done what, or seeing like every single thing on the internet, every place has its own factual reality now. And as soon as you enter, you like have to subscribe to that factual reality. And then it's hardcore enforced. Like all of these places will ban you if you don't agree with their factual reality. So you eventually bought into it. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. It's like, it's insane. I don't know. It's a crazy world. According to Ethan, from messages he saw Ian 3 days before, Content Cop didn't even know what Zionist meant. Yeah, maybe, but most people don't know what Zionist means. Most people think that Zionist means that you believe like in the ethno-supremacy of the Jews and you want to like rape and murder and genocide all Palestinians. This is fucking, yeah, I don't know. It's not a mystery. There were like 20 different 50K like tweets about the H3 Hassan debate that started with, I didn't watch, but ... I'm not watching, but ... Oh yeah. I feel like this happened with my, did I debate a single person that watched my Finkelstein debate? I think almost every single person I talked to was like, did you watch the debate? And they're like, no, but I saw this clip. And it's like, how long was the clip? Like a 10-minute cutout? And it's like, no, it was like a 36-second thing that, it's like, really? Okay. Most people don't work on logic, but their ideas are guided by emotion. It's harder to gather information and go into nuances than watching a family game. Yeah, I mean, like, that's true. However, That's true, but like this, it's not like it only affects one group of people, or some people are exceptionally affected by it. The problem is the internet is facilitating, and just like online cultures are facilitating a way to believe in these things and not ever come into contact with reality. I think more than what's ever happened in the past, which is scary and annoying, I guess. But because then what it basically boils down to is whoever has the larger audience basically gets to write history, which is crazy, I think. Wasn't the debate 5 hours? That's why I said, like, did you watch a 10-minute clip? You don't have to watch my whole fucking debate. But like, if you're going to quote a section or say I was wrong about a thing, at least you watch like a 4 or 5 minute segment of what we were talking about, not like a 20-second edit. That's insane.
Talking about it today, so I suppose it's out there in the ether. But Creator Clash is delayed. Creator Clash is delayed to a date far in the future. For me, this is a huge bummer, not only because I was bringing out a bunch of my family, but I was losing weight at a lightning clip. I was losing weight at a fucking lightning clip. And I got down as low as 100.
Rip. And they haven't even publicly announced this yet? And they stopped giving refunds?
Hello guys, so it's nice to meet you here. I'm finally on a gala dinner with Donald Trump.
Billed as the most exclusive invitation in the world, President Trump held a private and controversial cryptocurrency dinner on Thursday night for 220 of the largest holders of his own meme coin.
This is a historical moment when 47th President Donald Trump performed a speech for us. You cannot compare it to any reward that are available in the market right now.
Part of the controversy is that those buying into the dinner stayed largely anonymous to the public, known only by short usernames and crypto wallets. Blockchain data suggests many were held by foreigners. The Journal was able to identify and speak with more than a dozen of the people or companies who said they'd received an invite. Through on-the-ground reporting from Virginia, interviews with people who were inside the dinner, social media, and videos and emails shared exclusively with the Journal, here's what we learned about the secretive event.
Trump literally spoke right behind me. This is how close I am to it. Great experience.
Wow.
The competition was announced back in April. In addition to the dinner, the top 25 holders would get a VIP reception. The top 4 would also get a Trump watch.
The day that Trump released this coin, I immediately bought.
My friend hit me up. He was saying, like, I don't think this competition is very competitive, and maybe we can like sneak in.
The price of the coin, which had fallen after initial excitement of its debut wore off, surged after the announcement, but criticism quickly followed.
He is essentially selling access to himself.
Donald Trump's dinner is an orgy of corruption.
The White House did not respond to our request for comment, but has denied these claims repeatedly.
It's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency.
There are defenders of President Trump who argue that this meme coin dinner isn't that different from a big ticket donor dinner that previous presidents might have arranged. I think the difference is the way this was done. It was organized as a raffle, and that clearly went to his own private business interests rather than to, say, a super PAC raising money for his election campaign.
Ahead of the event, some attendees announced their plans to go on social media, like former NBA star Lamar Odom.
You will be able to attend, I take it?
Of course, to meet President Donald Trump.
Showing off the cars they plan to drive.
So I can just
Sorry, this is boring. I hate these people. Wait, what the fuck? Ethan Klein. Anne Frank is famous for being a pacifist. No, Ethan. Anne Frank is famous for being a child that was murdered by a fascist regime. 164,000 likes. You know this person would never put... Also, to be clear, it was a Jew murdered by Nazis. That's what they're famous for. But they have to like broaden it because they don't care about Jews and they don't care about Nazis. They just care about the fascism, white supremacy stuff. It's so fucking cringe. Did this person make a new account just for that tweet? Ethan, quote, I'm not racist. This group of people is just objectively scary and dangerous. End quote. Klein. Okay, dude. Jesus Christ.
Use any of these?
And even a shopping trip.
No, Twitter is bugged right now.
Друзья, собственно, это Женя, она меня помогала собирать к Трампу.
An email sent to guests said that they could start arriving at 5:30 p.m. The dinner was held at Trump's golf course just outside of Washington, D.C.
So guys, it's a super excited moment that I'm heading to the gala dinner with the 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump.
As guests began arriving, they were met by a crowd of protesters.
America is not for sale!
Entering the venue were high-profile guests, like Justin Sun, a Chinese-born crypto billionaire.
I looked to my side, and then I thought to myself, I said, wait, that's Justin's son.
In videos posted to social media, Sun celebrated the evening. He was the top holder of the Trump coin. He has also invested $75 million in the Trump family-backed crypto venture World Liberty Financial. Under the Biden administration, regulators sued him for fraud. In February, the Securities and Exchange Commission asked a court to pause its lawsuit. Sun has previously denied the SEC's allegations, and his representatives did not respond to requests for comment.
It wasn't that long ago that he was being sued by the Securities Exchange Commission and facing a DOJ investigation, and did not seem to show up in the United States very much. Now he's in the U.S. and meeting with the President of the United States.
Other big names in crypto included Yevgeny Gayavoy, CEO of crypto market maker Wintermute, a trading firm which established an office in New York this month, and Matthew Liu of Origin Protocol, which, according to this video posted to X, recently hosted a crypto summit at Mar-a-Lago.
In general, I think that it was a mix of people who were there kind of for fun and for the whole craziness of it, and people who had an agenda and wanted to get in front of the president.
There was a 2-room, one for top VIP, 25 people, and the big hall for like rest 200 people.
Around 7 p.m., President Trump arrived by helicopter. Then, videos posted to social media show he went to the VIP reception area.
What a nice place. Did you get to see the helicopter? Yeah, super cool.
Over in the grand ballroom, the rest of the guests mingled and went through their gift bags. Bill Zanker, whose LLC launched the coin with an affiliate of the Trump family business, gave a speech.
I just love the Trump coin. The Trump coin was the most successful launch in history.
It's such obvious. Has anybody normalized the phrase bad guy energy yet? It's just like bad guy energy. Like,
period.
Then,
and I hope the 48th president, Donald J. Trump.
That was the moment everyone was waiting for, right?
At this moment, it was.
They remind me of the Sony guy. It's like, I don't even know what the fuck any of this shit is. Sony sold it and I bought it because they told me to.
You absolutely have to fucking own if you don't want to feel like a toothless hillbilly living in some hillbilly shack somewhere.
I love bullshit like this. Basically, I'll buy any goddamn thing that I see in an ad.
The fuck? It's like this energy so much.
It was no matter where your seat was. Everyone just moved forward.
Trump made a speech thanking the attendees. He talked about his support for crypto and the previous administration's lack thereof.
A lot of sense in crypto, a lot of common sense in crypto. And we're honored to be working on helping everybody here.
Trump didn't mingle with the crowd. He left shortly after his speech.
I'm currently at the Trump dinner. Trump came, gave a speech for like probably 23 minutes. I think
and then he peaced. He was like, I don't want to talk to these fucking losers, and then dipped the fuck out.
that's the exact time. And then he left on a helicopter right back there. I am very disappointed with the dinner. I did not like the menu. I was expecting either Big Macs or pizza. I'm very disappointed that President Trump didn't spend more time at the event. He was not interacting with us. He gave a short speech. I wasn't very impressed by the speech, to be honest. I would have liked for him to dine with us, maybe spend more time.
For those in attendance, it was largely a networking event.
I try personally, I can speak for myself, try to get as many contacts as I can. So I think I speak with more than 50 people this night.
It was a whole wild experience. This kind of shows that he's willing to do something with the coin. For the future, it will give more confidence for investors and collectors.
He declared yesterday that he loved crypto and he wanted to embrace the people who took a risk to build and invest in crypto.
Others were less enthused. Government watchdog groups say the dinner may have violated several rules around officials accepting gifts. Senators have requested a federal ethics investigation, but it's currently unclear whether the president will face any inquiries.
Critics of President Trump say that this dinner is simply a way to sell access. And it's coming at a time when the president is essentially set to rewrite U.S. crypto regulation. And many of the people paying to attend this dinner with him want to shape the future of that regulation. To critics, that smells of bribery.
I understand that there has been a considerable criticism surrounding the events, but I view this event as a social experiment related to crypto. And the outcomes of the experiment is something we need to observe over time.
This is so crazy.